I'd first like to contradict our great Prime Minister. Britain needs more than a jumper. The other thing is, our message just isn't getting across in the debate at the moment. In the rhetoric and the politics, the voice of regeneration, the voice of the tenant, the voice of the organisations that are already reducing fuel bills isn't being heard. So before we go today, I will be asking you to take action, to do something. Something, anything. Tweet, email, anything. But we need to be taking some action. We share a shared goal with government. We want to reduce fuel bills. But some of us, organisations, housing associations, RSLs, local authorities, are already doing that. Retrofit, mixed measures with solid wall insulation, can and is reducing bills by up to 50% in homes today. That is not getting across. Mr Cameron, we're told, wants to reduce bills one-off by 75%. We are already talking, ladies and gentlemen, about reducing bills by up to 50%. Do you want jam today or jam every day with your breakfast? Because that is what we are talking about. We can and are reducing carbon. We can and are reducing the bills for the fuel needy, the fuel poor today. So, no bull, no politics, no spin. Let's be clear about the objectives first of all that we started with eco. I've no intention of reading all that because I'm sure you can all read it. Let me run down the front, guys. Question. Has anything changed? Nothing's changed. The aims and the objectives of eco are exactly the same. In fact, with the escalation in fuel prices, they are even more important. More important. So what I'd like to do is just take a little bit of a look at eco in action. The delivery of eco. You speak to a lot of people and they say eco isn't happening. Well, it is happening. We are delivering fuel saving. We are making homes warmer, safer and quieter across the UK with eco today. That may be a surprise for some people, but we are achieving many of the aims and objectives. Bless you. Let's be honest, eco didn't burst on the scene. It more or less crept into town. And the reason it's been so slow to take up is many reasons, and is shared across the stakeholders. First of all, it was poorly prepared. The amount of education that we have had to do with asset holders in terms of the knowledge of their stock. It is absolutely key that if we're going to get some of the eco-funded deals away, then the knowledge of your stock is key. The everyday knowledge of how you can get these deals away is absolutely key. The utilities, God love them. If you're an asset manager and you're trying to get an eco deal, funded deal organised, I'll challenge you to do something. Go to the big six, tell them your story and ask them to come back with a proposition that you can go to your board with and go, that's the one, that's where we're going, and you won't be able to do it. Because part of the reason that eco's been so slow is because of the inability of the utilities to present the case in a simple, comparable way. Simple as that. That is one of the big things. Supply chain. Everybody knows that there are going to be issues with supply chain. I personally, we as an organisation are working very hard, and I'll come back to you to that in a moment. But finding good labour, accredited labour, people that you can trust to work on your buildings and know that you can sleep with a 25-year guarantee, that's been an issue itself. The thing is, it is working. We as an organisation, Rockwell, have approximately 1.5 million square metres in an order book. What does that mean? It means that we are delivering reduced fuel bills that touch 500,000 people. That's now. That's the order book. That is what we're working with utilities now. The bigger issue is the huge expectation that we have created as an industry, as a government, because there are hundreds of housing associations, RSLs, many thousands of tenants that are expecting improvements to be safer, warmer, quieter in their homes. They are expecting that, and we cannot not let that happen. We've worked with I never get this right, Thai Ceredigion. Basically, got it, is that right? Close enough? We work with an organisation in Wales, Thai Ceredigion. They are already working with us, were working with us. They came to us and we talked about them upskilling some of their people to perhaps look at repairs and maintenance of the system once the system is up and running. They're a forward-thinking organisation, and during the conversation they decided that perhaps this was for them, perhaps that they could actually do the job, they could do the installation. So we as an organisation work very closely with them to get them the accreditation, to get them all the accreditation that they need. They have upskilled people, they have trained people, they have employed people, to the extent where they are now delivering work to 600 stock. They are doing the solid wall insulation work for 600 stock today. And what's more impressive, on the back of it, they are going outside their own geography and bidding for work. They are creating a high quality local supply chain that is sustainable and growable. It's hugely impressive. I was in Scotland about 2 months ago with the head of one of the big six on a site visit. He was hugely impressed with the aesthetics, and quite rightly, it was a fantastic job. But what he didn't realise, until he spoke with the lady who was from the Housing Association, is that there were two 26-storey blocks. They had always had enormous problems filling. Since the work, they've got a waiting list. They've got people waiting to get into those flats, into those blocks. Another reflection of the work that is being done and has been done. So it is working, it is rolling. It started slowly, it's picking up pace. God forbid that political ill will or stagnation is going to hold this back, because we cannot let that happen. I'm going to talk about legacy, because that's something I think is hugely important. Legacy, it's the biggest word that I've used yet. This is a legacy opportunity. A lot of the contracts, the opportunities we're working on are 5, 6, 7 and 8 years in duration. That is a great time to change communities, whole communities, regenerate communities, put pride back into communities. Anybody in the room that wasn't involved in decent homes? That's great. But that's the first time I've had a no-shot. In some ways where decent homes is a bit of a badge of shame, to be honest. Because I worked for an organisation that was one of the organisations that rode into town with a big bid, who said, we will create an apprenticeship for every £1 million that you spend with us. We will create jobs, we will do this, we will do that. The vast majority of people that I talk about in terms of decent homes, what did you get? Kitchen and a bathroom. It's true. We've let that opportunity get away. We cannot do that again. We are talking about genuine legacy. This time last year, maybe a little bit longer, we'd got a job for 1,000 homes in Glasgow, and we were cock-a-hoop. This was a fantastic, an enormous job. We're working on 5 projects at the moment that are in excess of 1,000 homes. That is proper regeneration, real regeneration. We can reduce bills. More than that, we can get people to work. We can retrain. We can get people upskilled. We can create proper long-term jobs. I'm not talking putting apprenticeships in work for 3 or 6 months. I'm talking about creating very, very high-skilled labour. Creating our own labour chain. I hope you realise how important that is. And in addition to that, one of the things that we want to do, we have identified with our partners, training partners, funding partners, delivery partners, even psychology, behavioural change partners, a number of beacon opportunities that we will change those communities immeasurably over the period of 5, 6, 7, 8 years. Are we going to do that? We're going to do things like SME hubs. The government says that we would like to engage with SMEs. Of course we would. Do they make it easy? Bloody hell. SMEs find it very difficult to engage with big business, the bigger contractors. We're going to help them do that. We're going to create hubs within these key opportunities where, yes, we can engage with tenants. I don't like engaging with tenants because it's overdone. But involved with tenants, fully involved with tenants. Because this isn't about telling people you're going to get solid wall insulation and, by the way, turn your thermostat by 2 degrees. This is an ongoing situation. You look at voids, so that those people could be gone next week. It's a continuous engagement and involvement in the community. And people need to be involved in it. And that's what we intend to do. We will engage SMEs, we will create jobs. And they won't just be highly skilled, solid wall installation jobs. One of the big successes that we did some work in Hammersmith and Fulham, and when people always talk about problems with access, what Breyers did there is they employed people from the estate to actually talk to people on the estate about the work that was going to get done. And accesses went through the roof. Because it was Mrs. Thompson's lad from number 74 that was coming and saying, Mrs. Miggins, they're going to come here on Tuesday, can you get things ready? Trust, and by the way, if you want them to change a light bulb, they'll do it. That's the kind of thing that we're talking. We're talking about not just massively reducing fuel bills. We're talking about not just massively creating thousands of jobs, long-term, highly skilled jobs. We genuinely are talking about a legacy. 5, 6, 7, 8 years. Is there anybody here that thinks we can just ignore that? Is there anybody here that thinks that's not an important message to get to government? Is there anybody here that doesn't really want to be a part of that? Rhetorical device, obviously. We can make huge strides towards a sustainable green agenda. We can reduce the carbon. But the message I want to get across, the message we have to get across, and I mean the whole community here today, it's not just about RSLs and housing associations and tenants, it's contractors as well. And it's all of us working together. And it can work, it is working. I go back to eco is working. It was slow, it is working. And we can achieve the big legacy that we're talking about. But we're not going to do it bluntly by sitting on our backsides. We have to engage, we have to create a voice. So I'm going to ask you to do one thing. Britain needs more than a bloody jumper. It genuinely does. So please, all of you, do something. Please, go back to your companies, go back to your tenants, go back to your communities, go back to the estates, go back to wherever you've come from. Tweet. I don't really know how to understand how to do that. But tweet, text, email, engage. Do not let the legacy get away. We did it with decent homes. This is 3, 4, 5, 10 times the opportunity that decent homes ever was. Please, don't let it get away.